Let's talk about this kayfabe thing for a while. Let's see what's up. Let's see what's up with this. Okay, so Kayfabe Productions, they want $400,000. Wow, for what? So it says, "Dear Kayfabe, you either have stumbled into our world or you are a hardwired rabid member of the subculture that is professional wrestling. As a fan, you are the engine that drives the most unique and engrossing form of entertainment on the planet. Kayfabe is a professional wrestling term derived from carnival lingo that means to keep secret. That being that we want to keep it real, it is the perfect name for our show. Kayfabe is a 1 hour professional wrestling show that is 50% story and 50% in-ring action. It is an edgy, racy, cinematic television series about a female-led professional wrestling startup. The show is a dramatization and a collection of female stories inspired by real-life events. And yes, this is at its core a wrestling show with world-class in-ring action. But in this unique narrative, we take you behind the curtain, into the locker room and outside the arena. So what does that even mean? What are you watching? Why are these stories worth a shit? Because we present them with no filter. You get drama, passion, humor, love, anger, frustration, and real life challenges. Plus, we address the 800-pound elephant in the room. And in our current landscape of the world, abuse of power, manipulation, injury, addiction, inequality, and the euphoric high of pursuing your life's passion that clouds every damn decision. So who are we? We are first and foremost storytellers, a collection of wrestling insiders, outsiders, outcasts, enthusiasts, and renegades, comprised of current and former wrestling talent, writers, producers, directors, cinematographers, and production talent from the entertainment and professional wrestling industries. A synergistic dream, if you will. At the heart of this team is Gail Kim, Amy Dumas, and Christy Hemme, the first female talent in professional wrestling to move behind the camera as producers, agents, and on the creative writing team. And all these people are involved. Jimmy Jacobs, oh look, there's Chavo, David Sahadi, blah 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 blah. All these people. Okay, so in the past 2 years, we have been working through story, budget, and related logistics, outlining the future of this project. The Kickstarter amount is the bare minimum needed to get the job done and produce the pilot. However, also outlined on this page are our stretch goals for better production and more episodes. We want you involved and have had you in mind since the beginning. This is as much yours as it is ours, and we want to give you the opportunity to not only have an investment in the product, but also make it happen because we are stronger together. Yours truly, Kayfabe. And then they start talking about this social impress thing. Okay, so let's talk about this. For starters, we know what this is, right? This is the feminist wrestling promotion, right? Where see, women do this thing where it's where I forget what it's called, the Whisper Network. So that's what it's called. It's called a Whisper Network. And what essentially it is women spread gossip about different people in the office, different people that they work with. Whether it's true or not, they just spread gossip. And the Whisper Network is all about this informal sort of storytelling about, oh, this guy I had a run in with in this place at this particular point in time, was did this, said this, whatever, right? So that's what this is. It's essentially the Whisper. They want to get paid to basically uh, tell a bunch of stories where supposedly some guy grabbed ass or tried to trade sex for a push or something silly like that. This is the classic sign that wrestling business is in trouble because it's not about, they're not selling you on the in-ring product. The in-ring product is mentioned, of course, but this is more of a feminist, we want to tell you deep, dark secrets. And we're going to spread some gossip. We're going to talk some things, but we don't want to mention any names. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a fictional story, or we're going to put some fictional stories behind them. So, there'll be enough there for you to say, well, so-and-so did this. So let's give you an example. Let's say some guy in this TV show grabbed somebody's ass, but he's wearing black trunks, black boots, a bald head, and wearing a vest. So they may say, oh, it's a dramatization, but this guy is clearly looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is the kind of things that they do, right? When they do dramatizations. But uh, my biggest point with this whole kayfabe thing, for starters, this is very political. How do I know? Because Gail Kim is involved. How else do I know? Because "We Are Stronger Together" is a Hillary Clinton campaign slogan. How do I know? Because they use Kickstarter. Look down here, Kickstarter PBC. That's Public Benefit Corporation. That is this means that this organization, Kickstarter, uh, doesn't it's not it's a half nonprofit, half for profit. Basically, they think about social benefit, quote unquote, whatever that might mean, over profit. So it's not a money making venture, even though they do have to make some money. So what is the purpose of this, right? So what is the purpose of me talking about this? Well, the purpose of me talking about this isn't just to rail against feminism, which I could probably do all day. I won't do that, obviously. I'll leave what I've already said about this being basically a whisper network, writ large, and this is what people want to talk about. I just want to talk about specifically something that's going on with the wrestling business, where people are far more interested in what goes on backstage than what goes on in front of the camera. And this has become sort of the what I call the cultural impact of the war of the wrestler. Basically it started with Beyond the Mat. Barry Blaustein, he did this documentary / movie called Beyond the Mat, where Vince McMahon gave him all this access to WWF backstage. And look, if you're listening to this video, you probably already seen Beyond the Mat. So from Blaustein, we would get Arnofsky, who did The Wrestler, and then we got a bunch of hipster doofuses that now Arnofsky or whatever his name is said that being backstage at a wrestling show is more like being in the theater than being at a sporting event. So now all the hipster doofuses and all the left wing morons want to turn wrestling from being a glamorous, somewhat psychotic soap opera where people pretend to really hurt each other, to being basically a dramatization. Everything is dramatic. Everything is over the top. Everybody has to be permanently offended at all times. All the wrestlers are being made fun of, and they're all down on their luck, and they're all impoverished and ruined, and yada yada yada. Everything is bad and negative, and I mean, you don't take my word for it, but you look at The Wrestler, look at Beyond the Mat, where they followed Mick Foley and a bunch of other people who take chairs to the head and never did anything with their careers. It made them put them like Terry Funk was another one. They took him and made him look like he was real down and out and real pathetic and real sad. The Wrestler was another one, where Randy the Ram, even though he's a fictional character, Randy the Ram lived in a trailer. He was poor. He didn't have any money. He was washed out. He went from being the main event guy who main evented Madison Square Garden to living in a trailer and couldn't pay rent. And then you look at these documentaries that get put on by people like Vice. So you have Vice, who does these Dark Side of the Ring documentaries where they basically talk about all the scandalous stuff behind the ring. The Wrestlers, another Vice documentary series. I think it might be HBO or HBO Vice, whatever. Documentary series where they do the same thing. They go behind the curtain to get real stories, quote unquote, which are basically one-sided stories that basically either promotes that certain people in the business are bad, well, usually the promoters, usually the fans. Fans are sexist or racist or whatever. The promoters are sexist or racist or whatever. Wrestlers are just down on their luck, hard luck, poor me, everything's so hard, why do I gotta work so hard? Why do I gotta do so much? And this has pretty much been the hipsterization of the wrestling business. It's an obsession with backstage because we can't make what's on screen interesting. When we can't make what's on screen interesting, people start looking backstage. And this is partly the Meltzerization of wrestling too. Partly where you have Meltzer and Wade Keller and all these guys with their anonymous uh, with their anonymous correspondence, feeding them information that Vince said this and Vince did that. I mean, there's as I sit here and do this video, there are people who are saying that Ricochet is going to get buried because he lost the match on Raw to Riddick Moss. So Ricochet is going to get buried. Nobody has. There's nobody going to be quoted on this except Meltzer, and then he's going to say, "Well, plans changed. If you get caught, plans changed." You know. So this is a bunch of. So let's be honest about this. This particular Kickstarter, because it's on a public benefit corporation, which is Kickstarter, Social Imprints, which does their merchandise and is also politically minded. They use Hillary Clinton's campaign slogan. They're talking about inequality, abuse of power, and it says in the current landscape of the world. In other words, because Donald Trump is in office, manipulation, and how you love the business so much you ignore all the bad things that happen to you because feminists rock and all this type of stuff. And look, the hipsters have also really pushed Glow. And Glow is another one that is pretty much just a feminist show. I watched the first season of Glow. I thought it was interesting. I didn't feel the need to watch any more after seeing the first season. That's why I can't tell you about season 2 or 3 or whatever, how many seasons it is now. But I did like season 1. I thought it was pretty good, but even though it was still, I think a little overboard on certain subjects and in certain things. I think they took some liberties. And it was also another, we're all down on our luck. Nobody's a real superstar. Nobody's really happy. Everybody's upset all the time. And I just have no interest in this. And I'm not going to say that if this gets made, I won't watch it. I'll give everything one chance. Okay, I'll give just about anything one chance. So if this were to get made, I would probably watch the pilot. Okay, but I don't support this. Mainly because I think that we shouldn't be giving money to people to do whisper networks, to benefit from their whisper network. That we're going to give people an opportunity to gossip on a national stage. And in a way where the people who are going to be implied to have done this are not going to get to respond. Because the one thing about Dark Side of the Ring, which is kind of true, is that they did kind of try to get another side of the argument, kind of, in some episodes, and most of them they didn't. And then when it comes to wrestling fans, they don't give you the opportunity to be on the other side anyway, because usually they just take whatever the journalist says as absolute fact. So we need to focus on what's going on in the ring. And that's what I really want to do. I like focusing on what's going on in the ring. If something outside the ring is important enough, I don't mind talking about it or being interested in it. But I don't feel the need to talk about every time somebody loses a match what Vince McMahon thinks of them. 9 times out of 10, unless you're talking to Vince McMahon himself, you don't know what Vince McMahon thinks of them. So the idea of, these people who say this is a dramatized story, which means fictional, but it's going to be fictional based on real events. So in other words, we're going to be able to imply that certain people did things and they're not going to be able to respond because we didn't use their name. But if they say something, then the hit dog will holler, and then of course it'll get leaked to the journalists or whatever. And they say, "Oh, this episode was about Triple H in China," which I can almost guarantee they'll probably end up doing, right? So it doesn't make me feel better or make me excited as a wrestling fan to think that this sort of project is interesting to a lot of people. And look, so far it hasn't been. They made only 10% of what they've been doing. And I don't know how long it's been up. So maybe it's the first day or something like that. So to me, look, if you like this sort of thing, this is the sort of thing you can to quote Jim Cornette, the kind of people who kind of like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing those people like. And if you're I care about everything behind the scenes kind of person, and you're all into the gossip, and you're all into the whisper networks, then this might be for you. But for somebody like me, I don't care. Like, this doesn't mean anything to me. You know, to me, this is again an opportunity for spiteful people to do spiteful people things. And let's say some of the stuff is true. You may say, well, what if they're telling the truth? Well, if they're telling the truth, you just use real names and put your name on it. You know, earlier this year when Tessa Blanchard got outed as being a racist or whatever, the women who did it clearly on Twitter, where you could see everybody's name and you see everybody's face and all that type of stuff. You know, when the Kelly Klein ROH situation blew up, it was everybody's name and face was involved. But this kind of thing is because it's quote unquote kayfabe, which is why they're using this. Why they're using this is they want to be able to exploit people who don't know that they're being exploited, but not use their name and may imply through likeness that it's them, and that's unfair. You know, it's unfair. It's not right. So that's just me. What do you guys think? Like, share, and subscribe to this video. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Let me know, you know, if you're going to support this or not. I don't have a judgment either way. Like I said, if it shows up, I'll watch it. If not, I don't care. But look, I don't trust Gail Kim. Okay, so you know, so that's on you. But I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace.